Really conflict. I lived under Islamic governments and police states and unstable revolutionary conditions of government and assassinations like Sadat between those who want to apply. The problem in every Islamic country is there are groups who want to apply Sharia 100% and groups who want to apply it relatively mildly. And that's why you either have a radical Islamic government or a military dictatorships. Nothing can happen in between. So I moved to America to escape the oppression and to live under a certain degree of freedom in America, dignity for women, and human rights. It was really a breath of fresh air to live under a government that is accountable to the people and that is expected to serve the people. Because under Islamic governments, we cannot question or criticize the state, because the state represents Islam, and under Islamic Sharia, you cannot criticize the religion. So if you can't criticize the religion, and the religion is controlling the state, well, you can't criticize the state. So this is how I grew up. You cannot criticize the state. And if you criticize America, I considered myself a Muslim, and I wanted to be a good Muslim and a good American at the same time. But I was told not to assimilate, and I have to wear my Islamic cover. And I told them I never wore it in Egypt because nobody wore it at the time I was growing up. And they told me, we have to wear it here in America to assert our ethnicity and the plan was not to assimilate. And because of that, I was ostracized because I did not want to not assimilate. In fact, not to assimilate takes a harder effort. If you move to a country, assimilation becomes natural. It's a natural thing. So I did not know, I wanted to become an American, so I chose to assimilate. And that caused me to be ostracized. And if you leave Islam especially, you're threatened. You live under death threats. And that's why I cannot visit any Islamic country. I cannot go back home to visit Egypt at all. Because under Islamic law, all the schools of Sharia, not one school of Sharia forbids killing apostates. And that's why I started my group, Former Muslims United, to empower ourselves. Actually, one of the reasons I want to go public was to protect myself. Because going public with my views protected me in a way, because I started seeing people who did not comply to Sharia in America, especially young girls who were honor killed in the United States for not complying to Sharia. And I started seeing that happening to fellow people like me who immigrated and became naturalized citizens. So people who assimilate and want to be are ostracized. We are considered apostates because of that. Happening in the Middle East, or even in Turkey or Egypt, some moderate Muslim countries. This is in America. So I started. I sent a pledge to a lot of Muslim leaders in America, just so I can feel some support against all this threat of terrorism. And the pledge was for them to repudiate the Islamic law that punishes and executes and threatens physical harm, and boycott and humiliation of people who assimilate and who want to become American and who want to have freedom of religion or choose no religion whatsoever. And none of them signed it. Only Zoji Jaster signed it, because he's a moderate Muslim and he's starting a movement for reformation. And I'm very proud of him for doing that.
One of the things you mentioned was that a lot of the mosques tell people that they should not assimilate.
Yes.
And let me ask you this. Do you have any feeling as to what percentage, was that just strictly your mosque, or is that a typical thing that happens?
I've seen it in 2 mosques in Los Angeles. How far this goes in all mosques, I'm not really sure. But
Okay.
under Islamic law itself, it wants Muslims to not accept any novelty. This is, I'm quoting the Sharia. Do not accept novelty. What is novelty? It's the values of other cultures. Only the values of Islamic culture are accepted. The laws, we were told when I used to go to the mosque, we were told that eventually we have to live under Sharia, even in America. So this is something that is told to us in mosques. And I'm not sure, because that was in the early 80s, I'm not sure right now what they're advocating. I stopped going.
So those that believe that, they're not really going to want to assimilate.
No.
What they want to do is come here to change things. Is that it?
And push the envelope and ask you for more rights and ask you for, I want this and I want that, and you're not giving me this and you're not giving me that.
Do you think some people that do that, when they get some kind of pushback, basically then they start saying, well, you're Islamophobic?
Exactly. And I am not Islamophobic.
Right.
I really love my culture.